from the depths of secrecy, long before the public ever saw stealth jets slicing through the night sky or precision missiles striking with uncanny accuracy, the United States began shaping a new kind of warfare, one that would not rely on sheer numbers or brute force, but on invisibility, intelligence, and technological dominance. Because after World War II, military leaders understood a terrifying truth. The next global conflict could end civilization itself, and so survival depended not on fighting harder, but on fighting smarter, which led to the Cold War era becoming the greatest incubator of secret military innovation in human history, as American scientists, engineers, and strategists raced against time and rival superpowers to develop technologies so advanced they could tilt the balance of global power without ever being openly displayed, beginning with stealth technology, a concept once dismissed as impossible, until breakthroughs in radar-absorbing materials and aircraft geometry allowed engineers to design planes that could evade detection entirely, culminating in the creation of the F-117 Nighthawk, an aircraft so classified that even many senior military officers didn't know it existed, until it appeared over Baghdad in 1991, striking high-value targets while enemy air defenses remained blind and confused, proving that air superiority was no longer about speed or altitude, but about never being seen at all, a revelation that permanently changed aerial warfare. While simultaneously, above the atmosphere, American satellites quietly took their positions in orbit, transforming war from a regional struggle into a global operation, as space-based surveillance allowed the U.S. to monitor troop movements, missile launches, and communications anywhere on Earth, turning information into the most valuable weapon on the battlefield. And when GPS technology, originally designed to guide nuclear missiles, was adapted for conventional warfare, it revolutionized combat forever, enabling precision-guided munitions to strike targets with surgical accuracy from thousands of miles away, ending the era of indiscriminate bombing and redefining how wars could be fought with fewer forces but greater effect, changing not only military strategy but also political decision-making, as leaders could now wage war with reduced collateral damage and minimal troop deployments, giving rise to a new form of power projection that was swift, decisive, and technologically overwhelming. While stealth aircraft and satellites captured the imagination of defense planners, the most terrifying innovations were unfolding silently beneath the oceans, where nuclear-powered submarines became the ultimate instruments of deterrence, capable of remaining submerged for months without surfacing, carrying ballistic missiles powerful enough to destroy entire nations, yet never revealing their location, making them nearly impossible to detect or destroy, and in doing so, transforming warfare into a psychological contest where the mere possibility of retaliation prevented full-scale conflict, ensuring that peace itself was enforced by secrecy and fear, while on the surface, U.S. aircraft carriers evolved into floating fortresses, mobile air bases that could project American power anywhere on the globe without relying on foreign soil, effectively shrinking the world and rendering traditional borders obsolete, as a single carrier strike group could control vast regions of airspace and sea lanes, redefining what it meant to dominate territory in the modern era. But even these immense machines of steel and firepower were eventually overshadowed by something far less visible, yet infinitely more disruptive: cyber warfare, as the United States quietly developed the ability to infiltrate enemy computer networks, disable air defenses, manipulate data, and cripple critical infrastructure without firing a single shot, marking the first time in history that wars could be fought entirely in the digital realm, where malicious code could cause physical destruction, as demonstrated by operations like Stuxnet, which proved that software alone could sabotage hardened military facilities, blurring the line between cyberspace and kinetic warfare forever, while at the same time, unmanned aerial vehicles, drones, emerged as one of the most controversial yet transformative technologies of all, allowing operators thousands of miles away to conduct surveillance and precision strikes in real time, fundamentally changing the psychology of combat, as pilots no longer needed to risk their lives to project lethal force, raising profound ethical questions while simultaneously delivering unmatched persistence and intelligence on the battlefield, as drones loitered overhead for hours, watching, tracking, and striking targets with relentless efficiency, turning the sky itself into an ever-present observer. As the world entered the 21st century, the pace of military innovation accelerated beyond human comprehension, with artificial intelligence becoming deeply embedded in targeting systems, logistics planning, threat analysis, and battlefield decision-making, allowing machines to process vast amounts of data in milliseconds, compressing the timeline of war from hours to seconds and forcing commanders to trust algorithms with life-and-death decisions, while hypersonic weapons shattered every assumption about missile defense by traveling at speeds exceeding Mach 5 and maneuvering unpredictably, rendering existing interception systems nearly obsolete and signaling the arrival of a new arms race where reaction time alone determined survival. And as space became increasingly militarized, the United States quietly developed capabilities to track, jam, and potentially neutralize enemy satellites, recognizing that modern armies without space-based assets would be blind, deaf, and paralyzed, making orbit the next critical battlefield, even as American Special Operations Forces gained overwhelming advantages through advanced night vision technology, turning darkness itself into a weapon by allowing U.S. troops to see clearly while adversaries remained trapped in shadows. And beneath all these visible systems lay a vast, unseen intelligence network powered by global surveillance, signals interception, and data fusion, capable of identifying threats before they fully emerged, enabling a form of predictive warfare where conflicts could be influenced, deterred, or ended before the first shot was ever fired, proving that the true power of modern military technology lies not in destruction alone, but in shaping perception, uncertainty, and fear. Because the most effective weapon is not always the one that explodes, but the one that forces an enemy to hesitate, to doubt, and to retreat without ever knowing why. And as humanity moves toward a future defined by autonomous systems, quantum computing, and weapons still hidden behind classified doors, one truth remains unchanging. The wars of tomorrow will be decided by technologies the public may never see, developed in silence, tested in secrecy, and revealed only when the balance of history itself hangs in the balance. Because in the modern age, the most powerful military technologies are not those that announce their presence, but those that quietly change warfare forever while the world looks the other way.